Hey guys, and welcome to my DBI Part 2. This is the second version from my DBI Part 1. There will be, I think, 3 or 4 DBI videos, so if you haven't watched my DBI Part 1, please do. And here we go. So, from last time, we found out that my student has an IEP in math, and we wanted to get him to master one of his math IEP goals. And so he needs to master, I think it's called KNBT A.1, and this is a Tennessee State standard, and it is composed and decomposed numbers from 11 to 19 into tens, ones, and some more ones by using objects or drawings. And then the student is to record the composition and decomposition using a drawing or by writing an equation. And so my goal is to the student will write number sentences for composing teen numbers, and then write number sentences and equations for decomposing teen numbers. We will use some worksheets that I have made, and I will put them down here. So with some with lesson planning, we have to put formative and summative assessments. And summative assessments are pretty much the sum of what you've learned. And so those are very formal assessments that you may do like a review test of what you learned from the standard. And then formative is just very informal observations. So hand raising, hand gestures, thumbs up, thumbs down, stuff like that. So I will be using only formative assessments in this because it's not my job as a SPED teacher, especially as I'm just observing, to give the students summative assessments. So I am only going to do informal observations. I'm going to use hand gestures like thumbs up, thumbs down if he understands the topic. I will also ask basic understanding questions like, does this make sense? How would you think about this problem? Why did you get that answer? Just kind of, and then as we go on, if I think he can if I think he can do more critical questions, as in why, or what other ways can you make up, certain answers or questions or whatever, then I will use those. Assessment accommodations. So in his IEP, it does state that the student needs to be allowed more time, extra practice, and re-instruction if needed. And since he is a ESL student, he will be given additional materials, but I've met with his special education teacher, and he doesn't need the extra additional materials in the first language, so he should be good with that. Materials, so I will be using the KWL chart, and a KWL chart is pretty much K is what I know, what I wonder, and then what I learned. So K, know, W, wonder, L is for learned. And then we have some worksheets, composing. I try to separate composing and decomposing as much as possible. In class, they've working on both. And so I don't want to steer away from what they've been working on. So we have the composing and decomposing worksheet. And then because the standard said that the student needs to use objects or drawings or writing or something for the equation, that's what we're going to do. So I made some worksheets myself on Canva, and they are a write, build, and draw worksheet, which I'll put on here too. and a flip draw show worksheet. We will be using this little thing on here. I'm sorry, I already have some of the stuff out. So we'll be using this. This is a dry erase folder kind of thing that you can put whatever you have printed out, and it doesn't waste paper. The students, you could reuse this. I have tons of these. I highly recommend you get these at Target, I think. Dry erase marker, dry erase clear pouch, numbers 10 through 20. Even though it said to work on numbers 11 through 19, I kind of want to see what the student knows with like number 10 and the number 20. And those are kind of my, if the student has this is where I could test them. So I have my little number cards. And then crayons or pencils and a 10 base blocks. 10 base blocks are those little blocks that connect. And so hopefully I'm getting those from my teacher, my mentor teacher. And technology will not be integrated in this lesson. I think this needs to be a very hands-on lesson and to be in compliance with the standard. Some background and rationale. So like the key concepts are just how to compose T numbers, how to decompose T numbers. Academic language is like composing, decomposing. How does this lesson connect with previous lessons? This lesson connects with past state standards. It's understanding addition, and then understanding subtraction, taking apart and taking from. It builds on like counting sequence, understanding place value, understanding value and properties of operation to like add and subtract. So this was just a brief introduction to what my lesson is going to be about. I'm going to go over my worksheets now. Okay, so this is the KWL worksheet, kind of what I said in the video. K is to like what I know, and the student will put like what I already know about decomposing and composing, what I wonder about composing and decomposing, and just simply like lastly, at the end of everything, hopefully we have enough time, but what I learned about composing and decomposing. So this worksheet right here is my decomposing worksheet. We are going to see what is missing from the number. So number 5 right here, an example that we put is, this is where I will model this for him, is like, I know 5 minus 1 is 4, and I would put 4 dots right here. So that's decomposing. So this worksheet, along with the other worksheet, are my I do's and we do's. So I will model this worksheet. This is a decomposing worksheet, and this one is a composing worksheet. I will first model by grabbing my number cards and then placing the 10 base blocks on each number card. And then we will grab a number like 11 and say, okay, so how can we come up with this number 11, or how can we decompose this in number 11? So those 2 worksheets will help me use that with him. So this worksheet is going to be my you-do phase worksheet. This will be in compliance with the state standard because it shows like how to write an equation and then build it, and then you could draw a picture. So this is kind of like a kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of deal, only because we could show this 3 ways, and this allows me to see like what the student is thinking, and if he needs help, I'm not gonna not help him. So yeah, I love this. I saw this on Pinterest, but I wanted to come up it with my own kind of way, and this is using the 1s and 10s place value. This worksheet is kind of very similar, but this is focusing on the place value aspect of adding and subtracting, decomposing and composing numbers, and using like the 10 base block style. The student is still building the idea and the equation of how to get a number or how to compose a number or decompose a number. So what I'm going to start with, because I've never met this student before, if you remember back on my DBI part 1, I had to get a whole different other student, and so he does not know me. Sam does not know me at all. So I just want to start off with having a quick conversation with Sam and, talking like, what is his likes, what is his dislikes, does he like math, does he not like math, what does he like about it, what he does not like about it, I just want to know who he is, and I want him to know who I am, and after that, I want to start with the KWL chart and filling out the what I know, and I will explain to him while he's doing it like what the terms composing means, and if he knows what composing means, and what he what he doesn't know, what decomposing means, and that we're going to start with like the single digit numbers and of like how to compose and decompose numbers. I want him to do these first 2 worksheets by himself. The what's missing one, and then there's another one that I did not show. And hope, because I'm not quite finished with that one yet, I want to use like a number line on it. I want him to do both composing, decomposing, single digit number worksheet by himself, just so I know what he knows. Then once he gets done, we will go over the worksheet together, and then we will start the first stage or phase, and that is the I do. So in this I do stage, I want the student to stop, don't look at anything else but me. I'm going to model exactly what to do. I'm going to think out loud and think aloud exactly each step on how to compose and decompose numbers. And that is what we are going to use these 2 worksheets for. They're blank, they're reusable, and so I could erase and use different number lines and number cards on them. So I have all the way from 10 to 19, 10 to actually 20, actually. And I want to model each exact, I only want to model like 3 numbers, just so he get the gist of it. And then once we get that finished, and we will go from both composing and then decomposing, we will do both. We will start with composing, and then we'll move on to decomposing. Then, after that, we will do the we do. And the reason why the we do, we will start with this page. We will only do about 2 numbers on this. We will continue with these 2 pages. And we'll use the 10 blocks to show it, and to write it down. We'll use our dry erase markers and all of that. And then after that, we will do the you do portion. So the you do portion is basically just him. And with this you do portion, we will start with, I think the right equation, because this mainly focuses on his standard. And so his standard wanted him to write an equation and to show it. But I'm doing it 3 ways. So and that's what we're going to do. And this focuses on, and like I said before, this focuses more on the place value aspect of decomposing and composing, which this is very important. The reason why I have two different worksheets for we do and then you do, which is what Sam does, is that because you're not going to have the exact same thing on assessments, and this is pretty much the assessment portion. I do, we do, you do, models. Another instructional strategy is model, lead, or assess or something, and I'm pretty much using the you do as an assessment, only because, and I don't want him to know, but just for my point of view, I want to use this as like, what does he actually know this, and then I'm going to add probably his special education teacher said that we can go up to the hundreds if we wanted to. I'm going to try and stick with the tens and the ones, and then may go up from do 20s and then 30s. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to be too ambitious about it. And for my closure, we will be finishing out the KWL chart, hopefully if we have time. And he will be writing down what he learned. For assessment evidence, I will provide the evidence that the student has mastered the objective by doing the completion of this DBI project. I will take all the data, and the SPED teacher will look over this DBI project and will determine if he wants to do an official summative assessment with the students. But yeah, that is my DBI Part 2, and I cannot wait for DBI Part 3. And it's the actual lesson. I will have video clips, hopefully, of the student doing the work, of me teaching him, and all that. So y'all get to see me in action.